Yeah, and we might as well, Jace, because we've got 12 races at Tabcorp Park. Not Tabcorp Park. Gee whiz, I'm stuck in the past, aren't I? 12
Ferris
races
wheel.
at Melton, Jace, at the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
And one really big race. That was two, actually. I mean, there's plenty of good racing up in Sydney. The Lensmith Mile, if you don't mind. But the Eureka as well. That's the one that seems to be getting all the headlines, Jace.
We've got all odds for both media. We're not going to get stuck in an angle too.
How rare is it?
Oh,
it's amazing.
Well, it actually, two things kill me before we get stuck in. One, is that we can't do the podcast immediately as odds come out on a week like this, because there have been a couple that have been backed off the map that you'd like to have alerted punters to earlier. And the other one is, it just kills you week in, week out that we're doing the podcast on a Thursday night. Now you think that by Thursday night we should have something to work with, and then you get to your game plan. And look, I've avoided putting many horses in my game plan. Just they win, but they're too short by the time that you are formulating that particular document.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're here providing thoughts and mail, and if people want to get themselves worked up into some sort of strange fit because of some sort of issue they've got with us, Jace, then that's what they'll do on social media. But and there's been a little bit of that, just quiet.
If you do have access, I've had it the other way around. If you do have access, to another provider, there's still options to. Oh,
there's massive. But my point is, listen to the pod.
Yeah.
And then look at the game plan. Or take one or the other. But if you if you only read the game plan and don't listen to the pod, you're going to potentially miss something. That's
fact that we're both putting significant time into spiels as well, which
100%.
Completely different story sometimes.
Well, yeah, and look at the spiel. Exactly. Yeah. So it is what it is. Sometimes the game plan won't win. I think I made about a 3% profit last week or something, Jason. An outlay of 100 for a return of about 103. That's better than losing, I suppose. But
that's ahead of the ledger.
The week before, I'd had almost a wipeout. I mean, that happens. It is what it is, but it's tricky, I must say, because if we were putting them, it's even hard judging the prices because you put up the.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I know it's what you're saying, but it's tricky on a Saturday morning as the price is open, right? We've declared something potentially on the pod. It was it's $6.50, but we don't publish the game plan until.
That's what I'm saying.
10 or 11.
There was one 2 or 3 weeks back that dichotomy on the other provider was $8.50.
Was this 365?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't have
a podcast. We can say whatever
I can't have a harness bet on 365, Jace.
Neither can I. But I'm saying if you have got an option, because it was $2.50 by the time, by the time the game plan was going, and you just think. Yeah. I don't think I even had a win. I didn't have a win bet on dichotomy. I don't think, because I'm like, $8.50, yes. $4.50, yes.
Yep.
$3.50, yes. $2.50, no.
Yeah. I think most people have enough sensibility, J-Bond, to understand the game in that way it goes. Race 1 on the cards at Melton, J-Bond, is the. It's a
Vicbred Super Series first semi-final for the 3-year-old fillies, for the classic age girls, yes?
3-year-old fillies. And it is. And this was a pretty cool race, but I am firmly in the corner of 1. Your thoughts?
Tilly Jane?
No, in 1 horse. Sorry, 1 filly.
Just being a fatty bag, don't worry about it. No, this is nearly, I reckon this is the best bet of the night.
Yeah, Draw a Dream, we're both unanimous.
Second line draws, semi-finals, and again, you spoke about Sense and Sensibility and Jane Austen and all the rest. But most people will know the one thing you've got to be a little bit careful of in semi-finals, preliminary final weekend, is that qualification is the aim of the game. Then they're all worth 20K. It's a bit of money. We'd all like 20K just jumping into our accounts. So second line draw, you're always a little bit wary, aren't you? Because you think to yourself, well, do you make a move? Do you conserve some energy for next week? But having said that, I just think Draw a Dream, $1.55?
$1.75 probably. It opened $1.75. Yeah. It opened today $1.55. Yeah, so it must have been trimmed immediately.
So $1.75 would have been, and people, it's hard to explain this, but $1.75 I think would have been massive overs.
Huge. I think so too.
I think $1.55 is still fine. I think when you look at sometimes when I go through the Vicbred and races like this, I think where are these horses going to be in a year or two? And Draw a Dream's just got a fair bit on these, I think. So yes.
I think so. I think if there is a danger, it's Ever Art, Jace. I think it's a pretty cheeky. It was a pretty cheeky drive up in that good race up in Queensland where it started inside the back row and was 2 lengths behind and very quickly got off the pegs. But it was a big run there. Ran second. But Ever Art, I think, is a nice enough horse, but I just don't think any of them are in the same class as Draw a Dream, Jace. So I'm writing down here unanimous plays. And the first one, we're both on, race 1, number 10, Draw a Dream.
I think a couple of very quick points. Eureka Joe will be attacking early. Even if Tilly Jane can hold it, I think Eureka Joe will be...
I think Eureka Jane will go past. Tilly Jane, it doesn't have a huge amount of gate speed from what we've seen, Tilly.
It's got more. But the one thing I'll say is if Eureka Joe's got the front, Draw a Dream is a very good chance to be in front mid-race.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Elusive will come out blasting, I thought.
It could. I mean,
in fact, I've got it in front.
It's got the most gate speed, but it is a hell of a risk to take if you're trying to qualify because if it doesn't work out, it's more of a mile or two, I think. But
I just don't think anything underneath Elusive has got enough speed to hold it out. Anyway.
Okay. But it's got to hand up to probably one of Tilly Jane or
agreed.
Anyway. Yeah.
If we're playing trifectas, Jace, Eureka Joe, Ever Art, Show Some Joy, Elusive. There's nothing else I'd want. Would you agree?
Ever Art, Tilly Jane, Eureka Joe, and who?
No, I've just gone 2. My numbers in order would be 10, 9, 2, 12, 4.
Not one at all.
No.
All right, I'd be throwing it in.
I've got Eureka Joe in front of it, remember, too, and then taking the cover.
But I don't think in this case I'll play a money race because I just think I'll have a straight out.
Sure.
On Draw a Dream. We'll have an early quaddy with it. One out.
Race 2, the 4-year-old Enties and Geldings. This is clearly the strongest of the 2 4-year-old Enties and Geldings. I put up a tweet last night. This was 900 and something accumulated NR ratings. The other one was 800, J-Bon.
It does happen, unfortunately. I've always been a believer in seedings. And
yes, I know you have.
I do not like this race for a bet, though. Have you got leading? Have you got the Lost Storm leading and holding? Kiang Tokyo getting across? What? Or Lost Storm leading and handing up to perfect class?
I had the Lost Storm leading, which makes it tricky for Kiang Tokyo, but you only had to look at the early money to make me think about what might happen here, Jace. Yeah. And the early money was, as I call up the fluctuations, that Kiang Tokyo was $6.50 into about $5 into $3.60 yesterday. The money just kept shortening. It shouldn't have been
$6, should it? I mean,
it shouldn't have been. My map has the Lost Storm leading and Kiang Tokyo probably going to the lead with perfect class up on the outside.
I've got a funny feeling if the Lost Storm can hold Kiang Tokyo in the early stages, it might wait, and there could be some fireworks at that point.
This is what I'm wondering though, because I think that Glenn probably says, "Well, I know you're going to hand up to Jackie there, so I'm staying underneath and I'm going to the lead." And I think at that point, surely
they're all going a bit at that point, though, aren't they?
They are a bit because I think Classic Mission comes out hard.
But that to me, again, second row, you don't think for semi-final night of the Vicbred Super Series, but geez, he's a punk rocker. Went
enormous. Yeah,
and even our old mate Exotic Bushranger,
he comes right into play if they go silly. I mean, he's clearly rated. He's a punk rocker was big, Jace, but Exotic Bushranger's done more than he's a punk rocker on what we've seen so far.
And he is a much better price.
100%, yeah, $15. So I don't want to play in this race. I don't think, to be honest. It'll be fun though. It'll be a fun race.
Although we will be berating ourselves if Exotic Bushranger somehow gets a 3-wide trail in it and wins.
Well, it'll be in our early.
And I reckon Exotic Bushranger. What is it right now? 14.
Yep.
I think it'll start over 20.
Well, I'm not ruling out Roadmaster either, and it'll benefit from a hot speed. He's just got to get off the pegs.
Mm.
Early quaddie, I'll play 2. I'll play 5, 7, 8, 2, 13, and 11, and I guess hope that one of the roughies wins.
2, 5, 2, 5, 7, 11, 13 for me. I think Roadmaster's flying, but I think that draw is a qualification draw rather than a winning draw.
Fair call. Fair call indeed. Race 3, J-Bond, the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings first semi-final. I'm playing 4 straight first fours in this race. 4 of them.
Where's New Yorker in it?
They didn't make this one, mate.
Straight first fours, eh?
Yep. I think there's an obvious one. I think there's an obvious second and third.
So 4 wins?
I think so.
2 run second?
I think so.
All right. Have you got an obvious third as well?
No, that's where, it's a little tricky there. I rate Sergeant Lou very highly, but
8, 9, 10?
You had to be blown away by Mickey's success. I've got, 4. So my first fours are this: 4, 2, 8, 9.
Yeah.
4, 2, 8, 9 is the first one. 4, 2, 8, 10.
That's not a first 4, is it?
Yeah.
Trifectas.
No. 4, 2, 8,
4,
9.
2, 8, 9.
In order. Then 4, 2, 8, 10.
Yeah.
4, 2, 9, 8. So Sergeant Lou getting ahead.
Yeah.
And then 4, 8, 2, 9. Either way, I've got Best Deal leading Some American on its back. I think they most likely run first and second, but the only horse I think that could rip past is Mickey to success. But I think Sergeant Lou could run third, if that makes sense.
Is it easier for... Here's a question without notice.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Mickey to success getting off the pegs.
I haven't written down my map. Let me call up my fields.
Because I don't think you'd want to be stuck behind
Bottle
Shop.
Well, to be fair,
Bottle
Shop, I can't say that name properly. It was dragged out of it last time. I don't think it's up to it, but it didn't have much luck. But no, Mick Jackie will be coming off the pegs, I'd say, yeah.
So is it easier to get behind Sergeant Lou if you are drawn 8 or 10? That's a good question, isn't it?
Easier to get behind Sergeant Lou.
If Mickey Success wants to get off the pegs,
well,
get into the running line.
Yeah, it's easier if you're drawn
8, isn't it?
Is it?
Because you can hang back and you can hang back a touch, and then you've got
10. Can't 10 equally hang back a touch?
Yeah, but it hanging back. It hanging back is I have seen. I love some of the rabbit holes that we're going down. I have seen too many times.
Yep.
When an 8 wants, when one drawn gate 8, the awkward gate 8 wants to get off the pegs. They so often get into the running line in front of the other one. But
true.
I don't mind your straight first fours. They're too aggressive for me. I thought I'm with you that the best deal. What price are we getting the best deal? It's
$1.95 into $1.75.
I think it will win, but I think that's right on the mark. But I think you're a bit more confident than I am.
Yeah, I am. I think I just think he's got Some American if Some American's on his back, and I don't see where else there's going to be a huge amount of pressure. So I just can see Best Deal kicking and Some American chasing him, and that's how it goes. The
2 bets I would have in the race are the Best Deal to win.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, Storm Riders, a lot of these Emma Stewart runners have only had 1 run back from a break. Storm Rider's very good. Storm Rider's got more runs on the board than anything else in this race, hasn't it? It's 2.10 a drum. I can back the Best Deal to win, and Storm Rider, I think, can find a way to fill the podium. And it's at 2.10 as opposed to 175 for the other one to win.
Yep.
Really, the better bet would be Storm Rider the drum for me, but both of them.
Just wants to improve a bit, I would have thought, J-Bon, on the heat run compared to the others. Plus, it's got to overcome the draw.
I reckon a lot of Emmas will improve second up from break. Race 4?
Yep.
Early quaddy?
Race 3, number 4, Best Deal. Yeah, I've put it down on our unanimous plays. So we've got 2.
Yes.
Draw a Dream into Best Deal. Race 4, the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings as we charge on through. The 2-year-old Colts and Geldings first semi-final, Jace.
Yep.
Race number 4. Give us your thoughts.
Have a look what Always Hot opened.
Always Hot opened up. Yeah, $8 into $2.50. And yeah.
Well, I mean, it's my top tip in the race.
But was it your top pick before the market changed?
Yes, yeah. I didn't even look at the market till today.
So,
which obviously means I've given myself away here. I could have lied and said I backed it at $8 or $6, but
why were you so sure about Always Hot?
Leader.
But Silver Pistol has more gate speed, doesn't it?
I a little bit, a little bit, but I think that under these circumstances,
I agree.
Always Hot will get to the front.
Of course,
and
yes,
this is one of those races where there's not enough between the top few for the lead not to be worth its weight in absolute King Midas, is it? And that's why it's 8 into 250, because people know it's the likely leader. And is it 8 into 250? People know it's a likely leader. And from there, the pressure is not going to be significant in most of these races, particularly where you've got one camp that are absolutely dominating in terms of numbers. I'll pose one for you, though, at $6 a drum.
Right.
There's a horse here who last start showed phenomenal early speed. And this is the problem for Silver Pistol even. You know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Perfect Stranger.
Oh, yep.
Belky Bartokomus.
Yeah.
You remember that show, don't you? Perfect Strangers? No, you're a few years younger than me. That's disappointing. Perfect Stranger. Zach Phillips to drive. He doesn't have to worry about... Zach doesn't drive much these days, as we know. Yeah. He doesn't have to worry about tomorrow too much. And I think they'll know. Out in 6, you go back, hard to qualify. There is a chance you can absolutely just fly across them and then hand up to Always Hot, and that makes life harder for the pole marker. The pole marker behind the leader, yes, but has a chance. But that was just a little off-Broadway suggestion that I might have had. Okay?
I think the highlight reel's the best horse in the race, J-Bon.
I think so, but is he...
If the 2 leads the 1 right, and the 12 gets around really easily, does the 12 run to the top?
Well, of course it could happen, but I don't think there's enough between them, and we don't have enough exposure to how good Always Hot is.
Yeah.
To say that would happen. I tend to think it wouldn't, because it's drawn 5 in the second row. It's behind Beach Delight. It's 20, 30 meters off them early.
Yeah.
It would have to be an early snap second. I know I'm getting the front decision to want to whip around and attempt it. Whereas the backing for Always Hot tells a story as well.
Does 40 Love put himself in the race in a desperate attempt to qualify here, Jace?
Possibly, but again, I'm thinking the highlight reel comes with potentially 1 run. Just bear with me. Una momento, por favor. I think the highlight reel probably has to come around, doesn't it? But I think there might, even with Storms Collide or Hesitate, one of the other ones, there's going to be a track in somewhere 3 wide, no cover. And I think that is a less risky option than trying to go yourself and things don't work out doing so.
I think someone's going to launch and try and get there before the highlight reel has a chance to get there. And I think there could end up being some sort of a spanner in the works here. And I'm happy to side with Silver Pistol to get the run up on the inside and beat Always Hot late. If the highlight reel finds the top, though, and Silver Pistol's double crossed, then I'm done.
So you may have been actually inferring this, or you infer something. What's the other thing you do? You were intimating this.
Bit of intimating.
40 Love is drawn behind Perfect Stranger. So if it rifles off, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but Rough Nuts drawn for a soft trip on the pegs for Dunny. He doesn't mind putting a horse in the race. 40 Love's a very talented horse with that form around Hesitate from earlier in the season. Went up to Queensland for the Protostar. What was it called? The Proto race?
Yeah, the Proto.
Yep.
I just call it the Proto.
But look, I'm happy to play Silver Pistol. Maybe 1. Look, you know what? I'm getting $5 and one. Oh, you only get $1.35. But
you have to back it to win and hope it settles behind the leader. And
100%.
Yeah.
I was really taken by its run last time out, Silver Pistol.
Was that the one, just quickly? Kate Kath might get angry at me here, but I've seen this a couple of times, but I reckon in that heat, go back and watch it. It was about 7 meters off. And I think Kate was happy. Okay, we're going to run second. And then the horse itself made so much ground so quickly.
Yep.
In the last 30 or 40 meters, she started to get desperate.
It
ran past. It ran past after the line, which we talk about.
It did a stack of work. The highlight reel did too. But from barrier 1 with no work, second up from a spell with that improvement, I reckon it's going to go well. But that huge money or huge money. That's significant change of odds early, Jace. I think is significant, but I'm happy to have the silver pistol.
Early quaddy 1-2-12.
Yep, sounds good. All right, race number 5 kicks off the pod quad. It's the Captain Crunch 2-year-old filly's first semi-final, Jay Bond. And is this the one where I found one and then realised the whole world had found it. But what do you like here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what did Soho Americana open?
Oh, well, yes.
$6?
If you don't mind umpire, Jay Bond. If you don't mind umpire, Ray Chamberlain. $6, Matty Leopard. Come on. How did Soho Americana open $6?
I only heard last week. Probably everyone knew Ray's ending his career. I don't know if he's
retired, but he's doing the AFLW now. Jay Bond.
Yeah, good on him. So yes, I'm with Soho Americana. I mean, one thing and I don't think we're speaking out of school here. It's our own podcast. We can say whatever we want.
Yes.
I think it'll find the front.
Yep.
I don't think it'll be handing up to any immature runners.
No, I don't think it will either.
No.
And I just don't see how it could be $6. It was a terrific performance last time out.
It's not $6.
No, but it was. It was. Yeah, it was a silly price to open. $3.30. I still think it's value, actually.
Yeah, I've written there exactly the same. At $3.30 is still okay.
Yeah.
Still okay for mine. Now that was off the speed, wasn't it, the heat win?
Yeah. Well, 1-1. Yeah, it was close enough, but
slightly different. People often don't get this because they think, well, obviously leading's the best thing for you, but these are young horses, and sometimes leading isn't. You've been trained up. You've been trained up at home racing with another horse for another couple, and that's a tiny little query. But also, no, this isn't a query, but the SP profile we talk about. What was it? $21, I think.
It was.
Yeah, we didn't get that. But yes, it is my on top selection.
Yep.
But I do think
beating Let Her Roll Off the Pegs is a solid form line.
Well, that was my other point. Again, I believe a lot of Emma Stewart's will improve significantly second up from break. And what was Let Her Roll in that heat? What price?
Oh, very short. $1. Where is it? It doesn't say on the form guide. I have to call it up. It was $1.35, Jace.
And now you're getting $9.50 and 2.
Yeah.
With that run behind it. So I'm thinking if you want to, you could back Soho Americana straight out, and I reckon have an each way bet on Let Her Roll.
Nice.
And you won't be too far from the mark. Miss Australiana, another shout out to Big Fella. I think he's part owner. Went terrific, but it's an awkward alley.
Yeah, no, agreed. I don't have much more to add, Jay Bond. Let's put that down as a unanimous. It'd be a bit of value if we put them all in a multi because it's still $3.30.
Quaddy pod quad 2.5 12. No.
Make a note here. Pod quad. We've got 2. I think we need to put in 1, don't we?
Yeah. Do you want to put in 4 as well or not? Only have 1 run.
Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 12.
All good.
Given 5 is $1.70, we better toss it in.
I don't think. Yeah, it shouldn't be $1.70, but yeah, 1, 2, 4, 5, 12 is good by me.
Race number 6, Jay Bond, the Ride High Vicbred Super Series 4-year-old Entie's second semi-final. Spoiler alert: I found one in this race. I reckon
this is a brutal race. Brutal race. You found one.
I found one at odds.
Can I? No, I won't check the odds. Let me have a think who you might have. Now we'll reveal that privately you said this one is around $21. Yes.
Yes,
but I'm not going to look at the odds.
20. Over 20. Yep.
I'm not going to look at the odds.
Sure.
It's not one of our. It's certainly not one of our old favourites, is it, from the pod so far?
It may be one of my long-time black bookers, and yeah.
Stan Zemanek.
Yes.
Oh,
yep, my Uncle Stan. You nailed it. Well done, J-Bon.
I didn't check the odds. I don't.
Massive effort behind.
In the words of Montgomery Burns, I know what I hate.
Yep.
And I don't hate that.
Well, it was a massive run. You go back and watch that replay behind Kiang Tokyo and Blazing Home. And look, in my opinion, from the 1-1 and then the way it stuck on in the straight, Jace, I think this horse has turned a corner. It's funny, you run third in a race like that, and I say you've turned the corner. We've followed this one closely for a while, and I'm confident that that was one of the best runs that we've seen from my Uncle Stan in recent times. He's beat home the Lost Storm in this race, who was, admittedly coming home late, but I think my Uncle Stan was still fighting the line pretty strongly. She's kicked the plugs off, I think, at about the 160, 170. It was still travelling. It kept chasing. And this is a significantly weaker race.
That is a distance that you used to hear in the thoroughbreds all the time.
What did I say?
Back coming now at the 170. He's starting to go. I honestly don't hate it. I'll be honest with you though. I get your assessment. Yep. But we spoke last week, I reckon, about horses who've got epic consistency. And I do this little thing that I could never explain to anybody else. I try to explain it to my late brother, and I wish I hadn't just wasted his time. But I aggregated sectionals based on the last half and where they finished. And my Uncle Stan here, you would not find, in my opinion, a more consistent animal. So I get that you might have felt that was, and maybe you're right, that was a step up. But I just think, depending on where he is, the only little thing is here, he's got really good gate speed, but surely they won't use it.
Well, it's a yeah, and I wasn't sure where he mapped. He's a bit awkward in 5, and they don't often use it. You'll recall
when he's drawn 1 to 3, sometimes he does, and he actually can run the gate.
But J-Bon, I think he's just better than a lot of these horses too. So they might use it to try and get a forward spot, and they might muscle their way forward. Well, I wouldn't mind that.
Well, I've got a roughie as well, but for the drum.
All right. What do you like? Let me guess. Is it my other roughie in the race, which is Young Bluey?
No, I haven't. It's the next race. Young Bluey's in the mix, but yep. I'm pretty confidently with the favourite here.
Who is the favourite?
Blazing Home.
Yep.
So who did Blazing Home run second to last up in the heat?
Well, that comes through the same race as Uncle Stan, yeah? It was, Kiang Tokyo.
Now, it was a big run. It was an excellent performance. And I look at this race, and we know, I think we've already discussed, have we not?
Well, he led and he got a 32-4 opening split, followed by 29-1. Got beat by obviously Kiang Tokyo.
But I think the quality of the race, I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking the quality across the board's not there. And that's, without being pejorative, that's why you're going with my Uncle Stan. You wouldn't go with it in the other semi-final, I wouldn't have thought. But
no way, yeah.
Blazing Home for me, but the pod quad could be massive here.
Well, it's funny, yeah. So my comment in the end was, look, I'm including a few myself, Jace.
Mm-hmm.
I want to include my Uncle Stan and Young Bluey, Little Louie.
Yes.
Compete.
Are you doing that hip hop? My Uncle Stan and Young Bluey.
They're Little Louie.
Like Louie. A Little Louie.
Compete, I think, goes in. You've got to put Gorn in.
Well, I think even though we know he's not as good at a middle trip, you saw when he's held up for one run,
exactly
how fast he can be.
If he's saved for one run, he's pretty good. And then you've got to put Blazing Home in, because I've written, and you have to put in the deserved favourite. So for everything else I've said, I'm with you. I think Blazing Home is the deserved favourite, clearly. But
we can leave it at that. But I also think Another Nian's not hopeless, and neither's hypoactive.
Do you want to put them in?
I'm happy to leave them out though.
Are you really?
I wanted to. Little Louie was the one I definitely wanted to include, and it's part of your Hilltop Woods rhyme. You did throw it in, so.
Just call me Ray Gun. All right, race 7, J-Bon, the 3-year-old Colts.
I'm getting angrier. I think everyone's getting angrier and angrier with Ray Gun, but
I was getting angry waiting for the interview to start last night for the project, and she's still coming up. TV trick number 1. Of course, she was going to be the last interview, and I fell for it. Race 7, J-Bon, we see Kingman going around here, and the early money was $2.40 into $1.65.
Well, it tells you to be probably leading.
Yep.
Not known, I don't believe. I'll just make sure I check, but not known for having epic early speed. But it sounds like it'll be leading. I would still say that Wardam Buddy's not out of it.
Yep.
Sir Jimmy's not out of it, but I went a little bit too early. But my big place bet here, maybe the best big price place bet of the night, is who do you think?
Brownies at midnight. King Repellair.
No.
They're the two that I like. So that's why I said them. A lot
like Louis. Is $6 a
love
drum.
that horse, yeah. Yep.
Now, a couple of so when a horse is favourite, right, and it doesn't win, and you've backed it, you get dirty. It hurts you, and you start to see the horse in a different way. Like, never happened to me, but when your girlfriend cheats it, or even flirts. But a lot like Louis, on a couple of the occasions when it has been favourite and I've been with it, it's breathed. I think it's far more of a one-run horse.
Yep.
If Kingman's going to lead here, as the market suggests,
yeah, true.
A lot like go back and watch a lot like Louis' heat run. It was flying. It did a great job.
Hang on, wasn't this the horse that couldn't run past my boy, the Sun and the Moon? Or like...
We already discussed when you get disappointed with horses. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it's in the next race. You better tip it now. You better tip it now, brother. You'll be with the Sun and the Moon in race 8. No,
I just think you love a lot like Louis, and one day your love will absolutely be rewarded, I reckon, Jay. So this could be it.
You were the first one actually on this podcast to tip it one time. But yes, I do like it.
I was actually.
But if it's behind the leader here, even 3 poles.
Yep.
That is nearly the best bet all night because it's $6 the place.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
What quad?
Number 1.
I love it. I love it.
Number 1.
Yeah.
There were 2 eye catchers last starts, King Repellair and Brownies at Midnight, but you couldn't put either of them in. I think I will put something very small on Brownies at Midnight just in case. But yeah, I don't know. I think Kingman's almost, I don't know. The market says it wins, Jace, but you probably have to include the 2 Wardan Buddy as well.
And Sir Jimmy, I reckon.
And Sir Jimmy as well.
1,
number
2,
3
will do me.
And you don't want to put Louis in just in case? Go on.
Well, we'll have all backed it for the drum, so
it's 50 to 1. Okay, you don't want to. All right, just 1, 2, 3.
It's moral now.
Get on.
I will actually personally back it to win now.
I think I will too. Race 8 is the next one. It's the what is it, J-Bon? It's the 3-year-old fillies second semi. And
I had great hopes. I said I didn't check the odds till today. Yep. I had great hopes.
Yeah,
but my hopes were slightly dashed.
Was this around Looks Like Diamond?
Yes.
Jeez, it just loomed up so stylishly last time, didn't it?
It didn't just loom up though. It had done all that work.
Yep.
Did it give an inch?
And finished it off, which was.
I've got very little doubt in my own mind. It's going better than anything in the race.
We were talking this one up a couple of starts back.
Yes, and it did win on that occasion. Sun of the Moon wasn't in that race, thankfully, but it is in this one.
Yep.
It won't be easy. And the reason I was hoping is when you look at 5 Emma Stewart runners, and it's D Miles. Now D Miles has never been afraid of taking on an army. He's Braveheart.
He took one on the other night with Arg taking on in the last race at Shep, taking on Diamond Eclipse James Herberson. That was absolute showtime. That
Shep,
race,
Melton.
No, it was a couple of days ago, a couple of nights ago.
I'll have to check the race again.
You go back and check the replay, Jay. Maybe it was Melton. Maybe it was Melton. A couple of days ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was this last Saturday.
No, it wasn't Saturday.
Well, that was exactly the same situation last Saturday, I think. Well, am I going
was it?
mad?
Well, I haven't done my review yet.
Am I going mad?
I'm just going to call it up. Hang on.
That was 2 weeks ago at Melton. That's right.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, it was like it was. If it was not yesterday, it was the day before. As we digress here a little bit, yeah, Shepparton last race.
2 white men came knock on the door.
2 nights ago, it was Diamond Eclipse favourite versus Arg, and Milesy has launched. He's pressured Herbie for the front. The lead wasn't there. Milesy kept at it. He kept at it. Herbie wasn't relenting. They scorched. And in the end, Diamond Eclipse fought, and Mongiana beat it by a short half head in the last race.
Diamond Eclipse was favourite.
He was odds on.
Was that the first time Herbie had driven him?
I think so. Yes, it was. No, not the first time. No, he's driven it recently, but he was.
But not for the last couple.
Yeah.
I never in the history of my time in harness racing, they've always driver changes or drivers have a big influence on the prices. Herbie could drive you and me.
Yep.
And we'd start
favourite
in the Rosella. Yeah. So after all that discussion.
Yep. I've let time get away with a race from Shepparton there. Race
sorry, $3.60 is maybe still good enough. But again, I think we're going to be playing a little bit wide in the pod quad. What do you like?
I said hard not to be impressed by Look Like Diamonds. Huge run behind Draw a Dream. We've declared Draw a Dream, so you've got to pick Look Like Diamonds on top of the rest. Zaraloo, Kiss, Renewal, and Stitched Up Dan. With one at any old odds to place, the answer was caught my eye last time. It's going to have the soft trip on the peg, so could just run a drum.
Not Sun and Moon?
No.
So what numbers you got?
I thought I went 12, 2, 7. I'm happy to knock the 9 and the 13's drawn badly. 12, 2, 7 for me.
All right. We'll both get one taken out then because I would have. No, I want Renewal in if that's all right.
Okay. Put it in. So
2, 7 in if you want.
2, 7, 9, 12 and 13.
Yeah. Because I think Renewal's the overs in the race at $2.20 the drum. Too good a horse.
Yep. Race 9, 2-year-old boys, second semi-final. I found one here and then I looked up the odds and the whole world had found it. And of course everyone had found it because horses don't do what it did, J-Bon, in the last 400 metres as a 2-year-old. It was extraordinary.
Now, let me find the bloody... Oh, here it is.
Yep.
Horses don't do what it did.
Number 7, New Shuffle. 26.06 fourth quarter, 54.9 last half, and was absolutely savaging the line. It was ridiculous. It was 100 to 1 on debut back in March, ran last, and then resumes for Philip Chirkop, Jimmy Herbertson, if you don't mind, in the sulky again, and it's absolutely rocketed home in the straight chase.
Yeah, I didn't find that one, so well done.
Realistically, pretty hard to see him winning from barrier 7 still, but he was $81 into $21. So the market price has been clipped, Joe.
I thought maybe the best bet in this race for a drum was one Sugar That.
Who?
One Sugar That.
Oh, Sugar That,
Emmanuel Portelli.
Can train a very nice horse, Emmanuel Portelli.
What a really good trotters over the years as well, yeah?
Yep.
But I don't know. 1 or 2 will get the front, you would imagine.
Probably, yep.
Then hand out whoever does with that early scrimmage. We'll hand up to Fox Dan.
The Fox Dan, yep.
I think Fox Dan's still too short.
I do too.
But I think it's a likely winner.
I do too.
So we are in concurrence there. And then, you're out to your Go Mickeys and Techie Creek. I think it's going to be too hard because it's going to be a no-pressure race. And
surely Captain Moore's getting disrespected again. I don't know.
Sorry.
No, but not by you. The market. There's $15. Why is Michael Stanley's horses constantly being disrespected by the market and they just keep winning? It's $15. It's one.
I wouldn't pass out and have to be taken in a mild coma to the nearest hospital if it won, but the draw makes it awfully hard.
Fair call. I just think Fox Dan's a bit too short, so maybe that's why I'm identifying some overs. We don't have to worry about the quad, so we'll move on to race number 10, the Captain Crunch. Serial. 2-year-old filly, second semi-final, J-Bon.
Well, I might have found my best quote-unquote roughie of the night here.
Yep.
What do you like, first of all?
As I refer to my notes here, J-Bon, I went 12 on top. Mr. Sturbia to beat 4 tenaciously, 13 Miss Ari and 11 Surfer Lemur, and sort of drew a line there.
Well,
13,
let me very briefly regale you with the story. The first article I ever wrote, the harness race in Victoria, when still not properly employed, but just going in to fill in for a young man named Brad Bishop, on to racing.com, and then I think he's at the tab now. First article I ever wrote was about a very, very, very fast man named Mr. Ville. And I have, admittedly, fallen in love with almost all of the progeny of Mr. Ville, and most of them have had extreme speed, but not quite hit the high notes.
Yep.
But if you go back and watch Miss Ari,
yes,
I know the draw's awful, but I've got a funny feeling here in my waters. So Tupelo leads, hands up tenaciously.
Yep.
One of the there's 3 good horses at the back: Surf Lemur, Mr. Sturbia, and Miss Ari. I believe probably, maybe, only one of them can make a move. So one of the other 2 is going to have to lead a 3-wide move.
Yeah. And
the other one will get on its rear end, it's Gluteus Maximus, and I'm hoping it's Miss Ari because it breathed. When
Yes.
I think of Mr. Ville, and actually most of Mr. Ville's progeny, I think of nothing but pure pace. But this Miss Ari, I think, has got maybe a little bit of bottom and a lot of pace. So I'm not saying it will need luck, but at 850 and 210.
It's worth a look. Absolutely. I like it, J-Bon. I like your thinking. I really do. Because it was the sort of race where I wasn't overly confident with my top two. And I rate Miss Ari much higher than the $8.50 on offer. Yep. So I'm with you on that. Race 11, J-Bon, the 4-year-old mares. For some reason, the 4-year-old mares just get pushed to the back of the program here with two of them. I guess there's got to be two. Someone has to run the two last races. It's just the 4-year-old mares this time around.
Sexism and ageism.
And we see Sweet Bella. Sweet Bella's $1.30, J-Bon, if you don't mind, $1.30. And Surfing Makes Sense is at $8.
This sounds slightly ludicrous, which we'll get to in the last race. We've got Credulous here, but ludicrous. This sounds slightly ludicrous because pound for pound,
there
wouldn't be much between Sweet Bella and Sahara Breeze.
Yep.
And if anything, you might say Sahara Breeze is the better horse.
I agree.
But under these circumstances, if you're having a multi, $1.30 is fine. Sweet Bella's just going to lead. Sahara Breeze actually might be caught in a position that it's not overly familiar with and have to sit parked, but I think they're just going to go so slow they'll probably run 1-2 regardless. But Sweet Bella at $1.30 is that's game on for mine, Coates.
I think Sahara Breeze is grotesquely underrated, and I think Sahara Breeze will win, defeating Sweet Bella. And I think Surfing Makes Sense is the other horse that has a really nice future in this race. But Sahara Breeze is a pretty special mare, I reckon, and I just cannot believe the price discrepancy. I get the map scenario and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, if you're just still a better horse, then you can sometimes find a way. And I really rate Sahara Breeze.
Wow, what price are you getting Sahara Breeze?
$3.40 at the moment. Yeah. I just think there's too much between them, and I'll have to have a play at Sahara Breeze.
I'll give you one other little bet in that race, the penultimate.
Yep.
Credulous the drum at $2.60.
But James, I believe James Herbertson. Well, he's listed here as the yep.
So it'll be $1.40 to play soon. So you better bet now.
Get on early. Race number 12 to finish us off on the huge night at Melton, J-Bon. Quite an interesting last race. Paradise Valley's open favourite, $1.85 out from $1.70. Yeah. Ludicrous is $3.60, but drawn very awkwardly. My old mate is Just Fantasy's $4.80, and your old mate VMG McRae, who you almost had a little breakup with, is $5.50.
Yeah. No, we're broke. Yeah, we've broken up. We still see each other every now. 2-1. By the way, in the previous race, the my little trifecta is 2 to beat 148, 148. But
excellent.
Here, I know that there's been a drift on, and just about every runner I've liked, there's been a massive attack upon. But and you've got a thing for Is This Just Fantasy? A thing. So
yes, I do.
We'll find out soon. But I think it has to go back here. I do believe Paradise Valley will be winning the race, and I'd have a trifecta. 5 to beat 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. I think Is This Just Fantasy, Ludicrous, and VMG. There are quite broad, vast, and disparate class discrepancies here, I think. So I think this might be one of the better money races of the night. And you know what? Depending on what you say right now, I could have a saver trifecta with Paradise Valley to run second, because you are going to tip the 7, aren't you?
Well, I am, but I don't even know why, because honestly, the way this map works...
Loyalty. You are a loyal...
Yeah, I think it's loyalty, but Paradise Valley should find the lead and win. What if Is This Just Fantasy does what it can do and launches from 7, J-Bon? I don't think it'll happen.
Paradise Valley is pretty quick, that's the thing.
I suppose then they end up in no man's land if they get parked, and maybe that's silly, because there is such a class discrepancy in this race that... Yeah.
You're still not going to win. If it does get parked, it's not going to miss qualification. So
outside of 7, 5, 8, and 10, maybe Keyang Blue Jeans. Yeah. For a place. But
the only problem is it's probably behind Ludicrous, and Ludicrous is going to run past it.
Oh, no, but I don't mean it can't win. I mean literally running top 4. There's almost only 4
top 4. But I think that, if you're going to do it, 5, 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, and then you could throw in 1, maybe even 3.
No, in fact, you can't. No, well, you might. I suppose you can. You're right. You can't. There are 4 horses that'll be finishing in the top 4 spots.
You've just tried to give me an option. Then I've half agreed with you because I'm a good man, and then you've told.
No. Well, this is what it's all about. I'm saying Keyang Blue Jeans, best of the rest, but miles off them compared to.
5 to beat 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10 for point.
All right, I'll go 7. I don't even know why I'm doing this because the 5 should lead, and you're right. There's nothing that can really take it on. I tell you what, if Ludicrous had drawn the front row, I'd be almost declaring it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
And well, if it had drawn inside him, yeah.
Yeah. 7-5, 8-10. That's my order, but honestly.
VMG McRae is good enough to win the race, but VMG McRae, just as much as I have loved her in the past, she likes to find a way to just get beaten by.
Geez, I'm warming to Paradise Valley. Common sense says it leads and wins. And you're getting $1.85.
I love that. I love that you can be that versatile.
Well, you've got to be. And I'm changing my mind on the spot. So my game plan will have Paradise Valley. And I can't see a world where is this just fantasy? If Paradise Valley leads and doesn't cop much heat, and I don't think it will, how does this just fantasy run the sectionals required, as you mentioned, Jabe, on a couple of weeks ago, to win the race?
What is Ludicrous paying quickly before we get on to about the Eureka?
$4.80 and $1.45.
If it gets out to 6, I still think you can back yourself and maybe have a bet on that to win as well.
True. All right, looking forward to that race to finish off the night. Let's talk Eureka, J-Bon. I'll call up the market. What do you think?
I think it's a very strange old race, to be honest. It's not as high quality, I don't think, as last year.
Oh, there's unanimous view that that's the case, J-Bon.
I was being unusually diplomatic there. It's not. There were 3 potential options I came up with, even though it didn't win by a big margin in a heat of the Vicbred Super Series. And when I talk about programming, and a couple of people have mentioned it, it is utterly ludicrous. The Vicbred Super Series Semi-Finals are on the same night as the Eureka.
Oh, it's crazy.
But that's where you've got to change. That's where we've never had enough communication between the states, and hopefully they can get better. But geez, it's been a long time.
I suspect both states knew that the race was on, though.
No, well, I mean better going
Someone
forward.
Didn't pick up the phone and say, "Look, just let you know, we've got the Eureka on up here, and you've got the Vicbred down there. How do we?"
Oh, you're kidding me! You've got big races on.
Here she is, Mrs. Doubtfire, making her third appearance.
We can't. It's locked in. So, yeah, I mean better for the future. But the previous win, even though you've only rated it from memory a 7.2 or something.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yep.
High above for the Queen. I don't pray to Mary. I pray to Karen Manning, who then sends the messages through to God. High above, I just think it is. I think Menangle absolutely. Yep, I like high above, but the other 2, I definitely can understand why Sure Thing Captain is at a relatively short quote.
Yep,
and the one I reckon at odds,
Bay of Biscay.
Yes,
me too.
I'm just thinking $18.420. Even if you just want to back at a drum, I think Bay of Biscay is the biggest overs in the race. So you can actually nearly have a place bet on Bay of Biscay or 1x4 and back the other 2 and maybe still find a way to win, so long as one of the 3 win. Never Ending's obviously very, very good.
Yep.
But no, I'm willing to take it on. You?
Yeah, I am too. Just because I just hate the barrier draw, so I can't have it. Look, I'm a convert with high above, J-Bon. I mean, having followed that horse now, and it got a nice rating still. It was still in the 7s. That's pretty good. Yeah, I just think it might have a class edge on him, Jace. And I want the 4-year-olds over the 3-year-olds still. I do like Bay of Biscay as a bit of a roughie, but I'll always lean to the 4-year-olds over the 3s in this sort of big race. And you look, I must admit, I'm not as across some of the New South Wales and Queensland form, and certainly not the WA form. So maybe I'm missing plenty, but high above has been so impressive. And Karen Manning, yep.
I just think it doesn't always work out this way, but it usually does, I reckon. When you watch that win at Melton a couple of weeks back, you know, there's some horses you just look at and go, Menangle.
Yes. Yep.
It's a raw athlete, and it did come around, and actually it was amazingly tractable around that final turn 3 and 4 wide. But you just think Menangle, time to really balance up down that long straight and get into its work.
Yeah,
it's just got to be close enough.
You're getting $8.50 and $2.50 for your trouble at Open today at $9.50. So there's been money for it today at Open, $17 way back when the market's open. But yeah, I think you're getting it's a really good each way bet, I reckon, high above, Jace.
Last word before we say sayonara.
Did you want to quickly give me one in the Len Smith mod to put you
Sure.
completely on the spot?
Catch a wave for me.
Yeah, Catch a Wave. Terrific last time out, fighting back. Major Moths obviously drawn barrier 1 for Jace Grimson and Callahan, 290 favourite. What else is in the race there? You've got Mark Dan. You've got Better Eclipse. So it clashed with Catch a Wave last time out. And Artie's Express.
Andy Gath has had an incredible record across the board, regardless of which way you look at it.
Yep.
But his timing for big races and having Catch a Wave is the kind of horse, I think, where you might not be able to get 100% out of him in 100% of the races.
Yep.
So I'm with him. Major Moth will probably win the race, but I'm with Catch a Wave. And quickly,
I tell you who I've loved to is watching Max Delight won 3 in a row up there in the fast class races. For some reason, I look at him and I think Max Delight must be about 12 or 13 years old. He's still only 8. He was going around back in our glory days, J-Bon.
Well, the most extraordinary step, I think it was as a 3-year-old.
Yep.
Max Delight was Victorian 3-year-old Colter Gelding of the Year over Lochinvar.
Yes, I remember that now, yes.
So I can understand why you think we're talking about a teenager.
$16 Max Delight in the Len Smith, in great form for David Aiken.
My best bet on Vicbred Super Series Semi-Final night is Draw a Dream.
Mine too.
And my best value is potentially Miss Ari. And my best bet, just if you're going to have one bet, is actually a lot like Louis the Drum.
Nice. I'll go. My best bet is Draw a Dream, and it's my best straight out bet too. I think it's a fair price. It's odds on, but you could launch into that. I'd probably put on a multi with Best Deal as well, and something on my ankle stand at over $20 each way.
We can say sayonara, and we've kept this nice and tight. I know there's been a bit of feedback to try and tighten it up. Well, there's 12 races in
no time at all
in quick succession.
No, it's been fun, Jace. So looking forward to the weekend, mate. Good luck. Good luck to all the viewers. Remember, give us plenty of feedback on the whole show, especially J-Bond's idea on the boutique circuit. And we'll see you all again next week.
Au revoir.